Guys, please help. I think there's a ghost in my house. Shut up! I'm sure everyone here is familiar with Smosh, titans of the industry, nay, forefathers of the industry itself, masters of their craft, true virtuosos, but most importantly of all, they made Ghostmates. Okay, seriously though, Smosh is like a really big YouTube channel that's been around for forever, and during the era of YouTube Red, you can click this little one, they made the beautiful, amazing movie Ghostmates. Now, while this is their first YouTube Red movie, this actually wasn't Smosh's first movie. That belongs to the movie Smosh the Movie. Movie. That one is a much more meta comedy about Ian and Anthony, the guys from Smosh, trying to remove a really embarrassing video from the internet. It's pretty cut and dry. It's kind of funny if you really like Smosh, but it's much more in line with what people expect from a YouTuber making movies, at least back then, right? But what's interesting about Ghostmates is it's a completely original story in which Anthony and T-Pain help a ghostified Ian ascend to heaven. And that's the movie. Sounds pretty awesome, right? We open up to Ian Hecox playing Eddie as he's getting ready to propose to his girlfriend Jessica. Well, propose, she moves in with him eventually. Basically, he's a really shitty boyfriend who doesn't realize he's taking her for granted. He says, "Hey babe, move in with me one day." She gets mad, she storms out, but as she slams the door on him, his super long epic bacon tie gets stuck in the door. I know. What? He tries to open the door, but the handle comes off, and you might be thinking, wow, that was really random. No. Everything is calculated. Smosh is calculated. When the woman walked in, she said, "Hey babe, did you fix that door handle yet?" This was set in motion from the beginning, all leading to Ian's death. Ian, in his panic, spills this bottle of wine, causing the floor to become slippery. He falls and he can't stand up, and he starts choking on his epic bacon tie. Jessica, just outside the door, not realizing the weight of the situation, starts flaming the shit out of him, causing him to panic even harder. He tries to free himself. He uses his belt to try to grab, like, the remote or something off the table. He whips the remote, accidentally turns on some weird porn. This causes his girlfriend, nay, his only hope of survival, to turn around and leave. And then he dies. I actually think this is a pretty funny intro for the movie, and I didn't remember it being this well thought out. I remember he like died because of this, but I thought it was just like, oh, you know, this little weirdo accidentally turned on porn and died. I think it's pretty fun. I like this intro a lot, actually. We come back from the title screen to Ian waking up to like these three coroner dudes standing over him, and we learn here that he is a full-on freaking ghost now, and that this coroner guy's a freak.
I suck toes.
Huh?
But
we learned here that Ian can possess people, which will be important later, and I know it's a little basic storytelling wise, but I think it's good that they're doing a lot of these like Chekhov's gun scenes in this movie. It feels a lot better than like randomly 50 minutes into the movie we find out he can possess people. You know, it feels more grounded in the story when they introduce these concepts early on like that, you know? Anyways, a few days later, Anthony's character shows up, whose name is Charlie, but for clarity's sake, I'm just gonna call them Ian and Anthony. I mean, I might slip up once or twice, but come on, you know who they are. You know who they are, right? Anthony becomes the new renter of Ian's apartment, and as the realtor lady leaves, he runs into Ian pantsless on the table. And initially he thinks Ian is just some bum that's staying over from the open house, until he proves he's a ghost by possessing him. Oh, and scaring the shit out of this dude who was trying to buy Anthony's tablet.
Is that freaking ketchup?
After this happens and that weird little dude leaves, Ian asks if he believes now, and Anthony fully realizes that Ian is a spirit. Oh! No, I'm actually here to tell you about today's sponsor, Clover. Okay. You ever have one of those down on your luck moments? You know, maybe you need to refill your car, you gotta go get some groceries, maybe a loose exorcism here or there, but you don't get paid for another 3 days? Well, that's where Clover comes in. Clover is an app that lets you access up to $400 of your own money before payday, and since it's not a loan, there's no credit check, there's no interest, and there's no late fees on it. It's also just super straightforward to use. All you have to do is download the app, and if you qualify, you can get an advance in just a few taps. And once it's processed, you either wait a couple days for it to hit your account, or you pay a small fee to get it instantly. There's no subscriptions and there's no catches. Clover's just there to help you know that if something unexpected comes up, you've got options and you're not freaking out about it, right? So, short on cash, you can access up to $400 with no credit check or late fees with Clover, and you can click the little link in the description to sign up so they know that I sent you. Me. All right, now back to being a ghost I guess. I don't know what the... Ian decides to get on Anthony's tablet to see what people are saying about him online, you know, like scroll Facebook and shit, see what people are saying, while Anthony's sitting there trying to convince him to haunt literally anywhere else but the apartment. Ian finds a remembrance post from his girlfriend, and he seems a little disappointed by it, but Anthony interrupts him saying, bro, please. Like, please haunt, like, a graveyard. Anything. Please, dude. Go to the mall. Get out of my house. Ian, of course, being the little rapscallion he is, says, nah, I'm gonna stay. And then we hard cut to this.
Do you want to stay asleep?
And this scene really made me consider a whole new side of haunting, because you never really know if a ghost is just, like, sitting next to you in bed or, like, while you're on the toilet or something. Like that cowboy woman toucher ghost from the Stanley Hotel. Oh, God. You don't think he touched me? This initial scene leads to this whole montage of Ian just kind of being an asshole to Anthony, like this shot.
Hey Charlie, how's breakfast?
I bring this shot up specifically because it's the only one I remembered before rewatching, because I accidentally had it set as my computer background for like over a month. I changed it for like some stupid bit on my stream or whatever, and I never remembered to change it back, so I was just staring at this for a really long time. Anyways, the montage ends with Ian giving Anthony a little gift, and that gift is a ticket to see T-Pain reading The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I kind of forgot T-Pain was in this movie until he handed him the ticket, and it made me remember my biggest question: why is T-Pain in this movie? Why is he here? Don't get me wrong, he kills that Raven reading, like, it's beautiful, but why is T-Pain in this movie? Ian and Anthony show up to the Raven reading, you know, they're super into it. Ian hops on stage because he loves it and he's like invisible and shit, until all of a sudden, Anthony gets a notification on his phone. 10K overdraft on his card. Apparently Ian bought the ticket for him with his own money on his credit card and just kind of thought he wouldn't notice, right? He of course noticed because it's $10,000 and they start arguing over it. But the problem is Anthony's the only one that can see Ian, right? And Ian is standing on the stage 2 inches away from T-Pain. So everyone else, including T-Pain, thinks Anthony's just yelling at him over the ticket price, right? This all boils over to Anthony storming out, and while Ian tries to call out to get him back, he accidentally kicks a stool into production, who drops a sandbag on T-Pain's head.
He's dead.
I think this is my favorite scene of the whole movie. I love how you know that they just hired some vape guy to do this because he's wearing a shirt that has his own vape guy brand. He's just wearing his merch to the movie. Anyways, T-Pain walks back on a stage as a ghost and starts talking to Ian, and I really like how this whole scene feels like neither of them were in the same room when they were recording it. I don't know if that was on purpose, but I really like it. But basically, Ian tells him there's no heaven because he hasn't gone up yet, right? So him and T-Pain are stuck together for all of eternity. Ian uses this to try to ask to be his friend, but T-Pain just goes like, I'm just gonna go find Tupac or something. When all of a sudden, the gates of heaven open for him and he starts ascending. Do you think he's gonna go meet quickly? Before he goes up though, Ian asks him to ask God why he hasn't gone yet. So T-Pain tells him that it's because he has unfinished business and he'll find the answer close to his heart. And then he ascends. Goodbye, T-Pain. Ian rushes back in the middle of the night and wakes up Anthony to tell him everything, right? And Anthony at first is reluctant because he's still pissed and Ian fucking sucks, until Ian says once he goes to heaven, you'll never have to see me again. So Anthony bolts up to help him and he goes, you know, T-Pain said the answer was close to your heart, so maybe it's just like on your chest, right? Like what a stupid idea. Yeah, it was actually on his chest. He has Jessica, Dad, and Rick Bowman on his chest, so they start with good old Rick. Rick was Ian's chemistry teacher who used to beef with in high school, so they go back to the high school, and apparently the thing that Ian did that was so evil was he photoshopped him into the yearbook blowing another teacher and changes his name to Dick Blowman in the yearbook. Harmless, funny little prank, you know, kind of crude, kind of funny, whatever, right? Well, the name stuck, and the guy's life is like ruined.
Mr. Blowman, I have a question.
The name is Bowman, but what is your question?
What's it like to blow a man?
Oh, come on, that's not even good. I do want to say the actor playing Dick Blowman is so good at playing just the saddest, most beaten down dude I've ever seen. I genuinely felt bad for the guy here. Imagine your name being Dick Blowman. That would suck. Anyway, Ian and Anthony discuss how they can fix it, and they start coming up with ideas, and they ultimately decide the best way to save him is to set a classroom on fire and lock the door to force Rick to use chemistry to free him. Great plan, right? So the joke with this scene is basically just he's a really by-the-books professor who keeps going over the safety rules for too long while Anthony's in the other room dying, right? Now, he does eventually save him though, and they all celebrate by holding him up and chanting Blowman. Blowman! 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 Do you get it? Because, like, he was called Blowman for blowing men in the yearbook, but now he's called Blowman for blowing the doors off the hinges. I don't know if that's better. But with Anthony saved, Ian notices the name Rick Bowman is removed from his chest, and now we've got only 2 people left on his chest before he can go to heaven. Hell yeah. If you haven't caught on, basically the rest of the movie is him solving the issues of the people on his chest so he can finally get into heaven, right? It's a really straightforward plot for the movie, but I think that's a good thing for something like this. Like, it keeps the pacing really quick and keeps it fun and lighthearted without leaving room for plot holes or confusion or just trying to be something more complex or deeper than it needs to be, you know? Now, one of my only criticisms is they get home and Ian and Anthony spend a really long time talking about Anthony's failed comic. This part was kind of odd. Basically, Anthony lost his job because his company didn't like his comic, Overlord oppressed a possum. It's this big bit about how Anthony's comic is like really sad and dark about an opossum who pays so much in taxes that he can't eat, but he's describing it as the funniest thing he's ever seen in his life. Oh, this is hilarious, right? And like, it has some significance later on, but it doesn't really fit the rest of the story. It feels kind of odd. Like, it's not a bad bit per se, it's just a little too long and a little too out of place, you know? But luckily for us, this gets interrupted when Ian's ex-girlfriend Jessica walks in. Hey, did she die? What? Turns out she's not dead. She's just a zombie extra on the show Law & Order ZCD. You know, Zombie Cop Division. Yeah, that one. Yeah, see, they know. Now you may be thinking, that's kind of random, but they actually hint at this during the Facebook scrolling scene from the beginning, because these guys don't just make movies. This is Smosh. You gotta remember this. They're calculated. They don't make movies, they change lives, okay? No, I actually do like that they add these little details a lot. I think it makes the movie feel more thought out, like they put more care into it, and they actually do this a lot throughout the movie where they have people mention details that get brought up later. I think it makes it feel more grounded. I know I said that before, but I'm gonna say it again, because I'm grounding it. Anyways, Jessica is super confused because she didn't know somebody already moved in, and she's also confused because all of Ian's stuff is still on the wall. Like the bike, everything in this room is still Ian's, and I just... Can you imagine walking in like, oh wow, wait, I didn't know there was somebody moved in here. Hey, is that a picture of me and my dead boyfriend still on your wall? Why is that there? So she just came here to get some of the stuff that she left behind, and while she's looking around and looking pretty distraught and sad, Ian's sitting in the corner confused because he doesn't think she looks sad enough. He starts to doubt if she ever loved him at all, so he forces Anthony to ask her if she ever did, and it gets really weird.
I'm gonna go inside you.
Did you love him?
What?
Dude, I'm gonna do it. Come on, ask her.
Did you love him?
Jesus, Anthony, you sound like you're about to axe murder her. If I was her, I'd be thinking you murdered my boyfriend. I wouldn't think he died in some freak accident. I think you killed him, dude. This causes her to freak the fuck out, and so she dips. I mean, I'm not surprised. And Ian sees she is not gone from his chest still. Because why would she have, man? His character is supposed to be dumb, so I get it, but also, why would she be gone there? You just scared the shit out of her. But the problem is now she's terrified of Anthony, so they're worried. They're like, how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna get her to get off your chest, right? Until Ian mentions something big. The funeral. Their master plan for the funeral is to have Anthony sit behind the casket and speak as if he was Eddie to fix the relationship with his dad. This is how they help the dad. Sure, man. Sure. So the dad comes up and starts bawling until Anthony starts talking to him.
Hey, Papa T.
Oh, okay, I don't sound like that.
Eddie? Is that you?
The dad believes him, and for a second, they start to have an emotional connection scene of father and son at the funeral until he says he's playing heaven in badminton with Thomas Edison because apparently his dad fucking hates Thomas Edison, and they argue about it for a little bit. And they do eventually fix it by saying, like, I love you back and forth, and it's all fixed. But I think this scene is pretty good, but I think it would have been way funnier if it had been just this extremely heavy emotional section in the middle of this movie. Like, I completely understand why they didn't do it, don't get me wrong, but just like imagine a devastatingly sad section of the father and Eddie saying their goodbyes like 5 minutes after they were chanting "Blow Man" in a high school hallway. I think the juxtaposition would have been really funny. It would have been downright sweet. Also, what the fuck is Anthony wearing? Go to a tailor, dude.
Great suit, by the way. I love that you're not afraid to show ankle skin.
Told you.
You're so fashion forward.
Oh, never mind. Okay, my fault. Maybe I should start wearing those. He uses the funeral to also give Jessica her stuff back and explains that he kept all of Eddie's stuff because he got fired and he's broke as shit and he just kind of had to, right? That's also why there's bottles of piss in his car.
That is not pee.
It looks a lot like pee.
Oh, and this is also where they introduce this little subplot of Anthony being hit on by Jessica's friend Sam, and it is plot relevant, but also it's a lot.
Keep those ankles exposed.
Oh, you know I will. You're dead.
I'm dead.
By the end of the funeral, Jessica and Charlie have this heart-to-heart, and then she leaves. But for some reason, Ian's tattoo just doesn't. Ian decides that Jessica hasn't moved on from him and she needs to fall in love with somebody else, and then he decides that that person needs to be Charlie. You know, the guy who's actively living in her dead boyfriend's apartment with all of his stuff still. Yeah, Jessica, go date that guy. Come on. he's a catch. We hard cut to the next day. Anthony is an extra on ZCD, you know, Zombie Crime Division, because he needs to run into Jessica again. Lucky for him, he does eventually run into her at the zombie shooting, as well as the other girl. So he very obviously wants to hit on the friend Sam, but Ian is just begging him to hit on Jessica so she can move on and he can fall in love with her, and you see where this is going, right? You see the dilemma here? Oh, also, in the middle of this, they randomly cut to shoots of the Zombie Crime Division show, like, as it's done, and I think this is really fun. I'm just kind of a sucker for when movies and shows change the format or, like, the lighting or something for a different section. I don't know. I really like it, so I like this part. Anyways, Anthony continues to very awkwardly flirt with Jessica, and they wrap up the shoot by asking to hang out. The problem is, Jessica was asking if he wanted to hang out with Sam because Sam has a crush on him and Anthony has a crush on her, but because of Ian, Anthony wants to hit on Jessica, so Anthony's asking Jessica, so then they got all mixed up, and it's all a thing, you know? It's a thing. I don't know why I freaked out like that, I'm sorry. Ian thinks just asking her out is enough, so he gets ready to ascend, but they realize it's not enough, and she's still, what is happening? Hello? So apparently he took them to an Indian theater. It's a Bollywood retelling of The Notebook.
For I am your notebook, and I am ever.
I'm not joking, that's what this scene is. It was, of course, beautiful, and they all loved it, and it genuinely goes on for like 5 minutes. I wish I was in the writer's room for this. I could have been a fly on the wall or whatever. I just really want to see the pitch where they were like, okay, so you guys are gonna go into this restaurant, you're gonna watch a Bollywood screening of The Notebook for a solid 10 minutes of the runtime, and it's gonna be beautiful, and then you're gonna fall in love, okay? I know Ian and Anthony didn't have a lot of control over the script at this time, so I'm just genuinely curious what parts of this movie were written by them and what parts were written by some random Defy goon up in the writer's office, you know? Ian sees Jessica being all happy on the dance floor, and this gets him a little sad, so him and Anthony go have a little side, a little heart-to-heart, and it seems like they're finally getting along, right? It seems like they're getting along, they're talking about ascending and shit, and all seems good, you know, they're talking a bit more, and then Anthony sets a really hard line that Ian can never possess him again. Ian can never possess him again because it's really awful and gross, and I don't know about you, but I think this is a little bit of foreshadowing. Oh my god. Anthony asks Jessica to dance even though he wants to be with Sam, and I can't lie, they are really good at making me uncomfortable as fuck. Maybe I'm bad at handling cringy situations, but I was clenched. I was clenched this whole scene. I did not like this part. Anthony's clearly really uncomfortable dancing with her, but Ian is just begging and begging him to kiss her, right? They go back and forth for a little bit. Eventually, Jessica's like, oh, I have to head out. I have a work thing. And then Ian decides enough is enough. It's now or never, and possesses him. Literally, like 3 minutes later. Come on, man. No means no. Anthonians start tweaking out, going back and forth, yelling at her and grabbing her and shit while Anthony's trying to kick him out, and everyone in the store is really confused until eventually Ian pops out the back and Anthony pops one out the back.
I did bad.
They mentioned earlier that when you get possessed, you like kind of poop your... It doesn't matter. He shits his pants, okay? Sam and Jessica obviously leave, and Ian and Anthony head back to the apartment. They have this really big kind of blow up at each other, and the words make it sound like it's supposed to be a really serious, big argument, but it feels like a really lighthearted conversation. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't know if they were just bad at like arguing with each other, but eventually Anthony storms off and says he's moving out. Ian realizes his faults and goes out to apologize to Anthony, saying he realizes he was a shitty friend and that it was actually him who wasn't over Jessica, not the other way around. Also, Anthony never changed out of the suit that he shit himself in. I'm choosing to believe that's intentional and that he's just nasty, because that is nasty. Anyways, Anthony tells Ian they have a plan, so they head back to the ZCD set. Jessica and Sam got called back for reshooting because of some mess up. It's not important, but he shows up to try to talk to them, right? He tries to explain that Ian really is a ghost, so he keeps telling her niche things about Ian to try to convince her that he's actually there, but she's just like, dude, get the fuck away from me, man. I have pepper spray in my purse, get away from me. She's not buying it, right? She tells him to go, and then he walks off. As they're walking away, Ian and Anthony start arguing a little. Ian calls him the penultimate dick, and he tells him, hey man, that's not how you use the word penultimate, which seems a little inconsequential, but this actually causes Jessica to immediately turn around. Why? Because Smosh is calculated. They have been setting this joke up from the beginning of the movie. Basically, Ian kept using penultimate wrong and she would constantly correct him on it. So when she hears Anthony correct him on it too, she realizes it clicks. She realizes he's telling the truth. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my God. Now that she believes him, Anthony starts telling her a bunch of stuff Ian wanted to say, and she starts getting closer and closer to him. They eventually come to embrace each other. You know, Jessica and Ian have this beautiful heart-to-heart, and then T-Pain comes down from heaven itself to grab him.
Is that T-Pain?
What's up, beautiful baby?
Hi, T-Pain.
Yeah, it's your boy now.
I fucking love that scene. Any scene T-Pain's in immediately gets elevated. God, it's... T-Pain brings Eddie up to heaven. Jessica now believes Anthony and all's good there. He gets Sam, and then the movie ends. Oh, there's actually one end credit scene. Basically, Anthony decided to make their adventure into his comic. That's what the whole comic thing led up to here. And Ian came back to Earth as his guardian angel. And then the movie ends. I don't know if the whole guardian angel thing was supposed to be setting up a sequel, but I don't think we have to worry about that anymore. All in all, I think this movie still holds up surprisingly well. Well, it's not surprising. I mean, it's the greatest movie ever made. No, seriously though, the jokes were a little rough some places, some bits ran a little too long, but I think the humor still lands pretty well overall, and I think it's just a fun concept for a movie. I also think Ian and Anthony did a pretty good job acting, even if they are just kind of playing themselves. I still think they did a pretty good job, you know? Considering it was a YouTube-bred comedy movie, I would say it was pretty good. I don't know, was it a beautifully enriching story with masterclass writing? No, of course not. But it was a good like hour-and-a-half movie, you know? I don't know. I enjoyed watching it. You know, I can't imagine they ever do make that sequel, but I mean, if they do, hey guys, I could play a mean extra on Zombie Crime Division. Watch. That's all the time I've got, but hey, don't forget, I've got merch now, Prisk.shop. You can head over there. I've got some pretty cool stuff. I really like all the designs. I think you will too. So you can go head over to check that out. And with all that being said, my name is Prisk. Reggie's back there. Right? Reggie?